Aim for the stars.
3, 2, 1.
This is the Produce Your Own Life podcast. Life is a script. It's time to write your story. Welcome your host, actor, director, producer, writer, and author of the recently released book, Shattered, A Journey Through the Pieces, the man who inspires millions through storytelling and interviews, the one, the only, Rodney Damoncollins.
To episode 1 of the Produce Your Own Life podcast, where we believe and we say that life is a script. It's time to write yours. Make sure you like, rate, and share the podcast. Make sure you check out the YouTube channel, Rodney Damoncollins TV. Make sure you subscribe. Like when you watch the video. YouTube needs some likes. Apple likes too. So make sure you do that. This podcast is available on all platforms. So make sure you find it. The Produce Your Own Life podcast, subscribe, listen to the podcast, and rate them. Today, to start off my second season, which I'm very excited, episode 1, I have an incredible person before you. She is a screenwriter, producer, and author of the book, Evergreen, Uprooted Memoirs of Secret. The incomparable, that woman that rocks. Everybody show a welcome for Naz Pankey. All right. Look up in there again. Put that book up there so everybody can see it.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thank you so much. Yeah. Evergreen Uprooted by Naz Pankey. I'm trying to see if I can turn it here. There we go.
Yeah. Make sure you turn it the other way.
Okay, there we go. I'm trying to get it and there we go. Yeah. Evergreen Uprooted, Memoirs of Secret.
Yeah, right there. That's what you put it. Perfect.
Thank you.
And make sure everybody get that book. So, how's your Tuesday going?
It is going fantastic. It is a beautiful day. I mean, just awesome. My son, he left this morning in his little Perry Ellis suit. He's going on a job interview. All right. So that's great. Yeah, so my day it's just wonderful. You know, I'm just blessed to wake up every morning and be able to do what I love and walk in my purpose. Yes. Really, there's no complaints. I mean, with everything that's happening right now in this world, it's just really no complaints. I thank God every time I get up, that my kids get up, that I'm healthy and I have the able to do what I love.
You know what? That attitude is why you are who you are and why you do.
Thank you.
We can always find a reason to be negative. We can always find a reason to think about what's going wrong. But when you focus on the good, oh my goodness, it just outweighs all negativity and it changes your whole being. So I'm grateful every single day. I have a journal that I write things that I'm grateful for every day. And that keeps me in the right mindset. Doesn't mean that stuff ain't going, I'm not having a challenge. It just means that I see the beauty in my life. So I love that.
Yes, that's wonderful. Yes, and I love that you journal too, because you can always look back. You know, journaling is good because you can go and look back and see how you've grown.
No doubt. Mm-hmm. No doubt. That's what it's about. You know, I remember when I was in school, in elementary school, they tried to tell you to start journaling. I used to be like, why are we doing this? I understand now why they were trying to create that habit, because each life is a script. So journaling is the script of your life. We're all a book. Each person is a book.
Yes. And I always say life is like a book and each day is a new page.
Yes it is. New page, and let's create this beautiful new page. We want to welcome the viewers. We thank you very much for checking us out. We'll also be available on LinkedIn. You'll be able to watch us there, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, everywhere. Everywhere it's available. So we thank you guys for watching and supporting this show. I wanted to get into this here. You know, you have such a cool name for your entertainment company. I was like, what inspired the name Beast Mode Entertainment? I was like, what the hell?
I don't know. I think for beast mode, I always think of people who go hard. You know, whatever you do, you just go that extra mile. You put that extra effort in. And that's the effort that I put in when I'm working on productions, when I'm working on film. I'm not a show up and wing it type of person.
Yeah.
I'm all about going hard. I'm all about rolling up my sleeves. I'm all about getting down and dirty and doing what it takes to make it happen. And
Right.
just really trying, I really care about people, especially that people who believe in me, believe in the project. I believe in teamwork. I believe in respecting time and trying my best to be as prepared as possible when we're on set. Now, it's not going to always be perfect, I know, but I don't mind putting in the work to get it done. So that's what beast mode is beast mode is me not just showing up and winging it, but me putting in the work and then going above and beyond to make sure it gets done.
I love that. I
Yeah.
think you're probably in beast mode even at home.
I'm a beast mode with my kids. I think I did a pretty decent job. They're really great boys, I must say. But home. I'm different. I'm kind of laid back. We all have our routine. We all have our set way of doing things. I have two sons. One will be 17 on the 21st of this month, and my oldest son is 22. And we just have our way of doing things. We stay at each other's way. I respect them. They respect me as their mother, even though they're much taller than me. They're bigger than me, but they're bigger than me, but I'm the biggest in here. They respect me, and I love that. And we just have a lot of peace. We have peace in this household. So things are a little bit calm. I don't know. I don't want to say a chameleon, but things are very calm at home, different from when I'm out working. It's very, very laid back. I'm very laid back in the house. I allow them to be themselves. I'm myself. We kind of chill, relax, have a good time. And when I'm on set or I'm working, whatever the job is, I'm dedicated to what the job is.
I love that. I love that. So you say, so at home, it's like how Superman was. Superman has his fortress of solitude. That's how home is, your fortress of solitude. That's where you find your
Yes. Yes, it is. Very, very peaceful. Yeah.
Share with us this project that Beast Mode Entertainment has recently put out.
Well, we put out a few. So one of the projects that we did with Kinship Studios is called The Super, and it's a sitcom about gentrification. And I got into that because it was the pandemic happened, as Silk Kozart calls it, the pandemic. The pandemic that happened, and pandemic, and we were just stuck in the house, me and the boys, and I was sitting down. I was like, I can't watch any more TV. The news is so depressing. I mean, I definitely want to watch every day and be caught up on what's going on in the world. That's important, but it was just draining me. And in the house, and all these things was happening, and I was like, I have to do something. I'm a content creator. And so my son and I started watching some YouTube web series with my son, my oldest son. And I said, that would be cool. I've never done a web series. And we began to talk, and we came up with Ghetto, which is Ghetto. So we was like, okay, that would be the name. And we came up with the Super, gentrification, because, I'm from the South Bronx, and I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot that, people who are just getting by, people who are hand to mouth. I've seen the things that they have to do to survive. And they're not bad people, but they need a side hustle because they're in these rent-controlled buildings. And when you're in that type of building, you cannot make over a certain amount of money, because if you do, you don't qualify to stay there. So these people are already hand to mouth, and they have children. The kids want stuff. They want Jordans, in the hood. You don't have stuff. They're going to get beat up. They want Jordans, and they want school books, and they want to join different activities and be involved in things like other kids, and the parents got to find a way to make it happen. So they all have different side hustles. So you got people in the building, like we had this one guy, Ali. He's an Asian Muslim, he's all about Assalamu alaikum. He got his little kufi on and everything, and he has a store in his house. And if you are from the hood, I'm from the hood, anybody from the hood, you got that person in the building that's selling candies, that's frying fish, making meals, and selling plates of food, that they selling beer and cigarettes and ices to the kids. The kids don't go to the store, they go knock on the door in the building and get different type of food. And so you got him, that's Ali. He has a nail salon in his house, he has a massage parlor, he has a little convenience store, bodega in his house. Then you have we have Big Mama's one stop truck shop. And so the truckers, instead of going to the gas station to go and shower and do all that stuff, when they in town, they go to Big Mama's house. Big Mama makes the best fried chicken in town.
Yeah.
Clean linen. All the girls, if they want to get with some of the girls, she got the girls there. She got everything. She got the booze. She got everything for them. So it's like, why go to the gas station when we can go to Big Mama's house? And, like a home. Yeah. And so she has that. She's running pretty much a broccoli from her house. That's Big Mama. We got the lady in the building, that has all the kids. She watch all the kids in the neighborhood. She don't have a license. I knew someone like that. She couldn't read or write, and she watched all the kids in the neighborhood. That was her side hustle. She didn't have a license, and the kids were always good. That's the person you want to leave your child with, because she's the one who really has been doing it for decades. And she's a grandma, and she just knows how to do certain things that the young, maybe the young people at daycare that went to school wouldn't know to do. So yeah.
What the show sounds like? It sounds like a mix of 227, Seinfeld, and Sanford and Son.
Yeah, it is. And I wanted to do something fun because there was so much stuff happening. I'm more of a dramatic, gritty type of writer, but I was like, I can't do grit right now because it's just so much stuff happening, but I still want to focus on the things that's happening in the real world, but just tell it in a funny way. So that's how the Super came about. And we filmed it. I called Tracy at Kenshin Studios, and I pitched it to him, and he was like, yeah, Naz, all we got to do is hit the red button. Now, I'm beast mode, so you can't tell me something like that all we have to do is hit the red button. So we went to production like the next month, and we shot it. We shot all 7 episodes in 2 days.
Love it.
It was so much fun. We had social distancing. It was a 3-camera setup. Everybody was kind of spread out, We brought in Geek Junkie. She's an amazing designer, and she made all the clothes for the woman who played Trixie. Trixie was G Hetto, who's our lead character, his love interest. So we even have a love story. So that's a lot of fun. And then of course Lester Green. Lester Green. Lester Green. Yeah, I call him the connector. He's known as the connector, and so Lester Green and we've been working on several projects. We have some amazing things coming up. We have Finding Mr. Right Now. It's a talk show. It's a podcast, and we're doing short movies. And I started one of the short movies called Way to a Woman's Heart with Andrew McAllister, written by Robert Sear. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but
I haven't yet.
I'm normally behind the scenes, so that was really exciting. And I don't know if you know Andrew McAllister, but he is an amazing actor. I mean, just amazing. So that was just a reward to be in a film with him, and it was a lot of fun. And so, and then we did another one called Amen, written by Lester Green and starring Lester Green and Jamila Turner, 2 brilliant actors. I directed it, and that was a lot of fun. So far we have 2 episodes that are complete, and we screened the episodes. I believe it was New Year's Eve. We screened it, and we let it run for a week live it premiered on YouTube for about a week, and then we took it down because we still have about 5 or 6 more episodes to do, and we're going to pick that up in March.
I wish I was in Atlanta right now. I'm here in LA. We're back and forth with filming.
Yes.
You got me all excited. Everybody,
I'm telling you. Well, if you ever come in town, we can work together. It's all about living, loving, and living. We got to do what we love. That's the thing, And I have to say, COVID helped me realize that it's not about chasing $1 million. It's not about chasing the money. I feel rich because I get to wake up and do what I love, and I get to be around people that love me and people that I love. And to me, that's the biggest gift ever. I mean, that's what we all really want. Now, are there materialistic things that I would like? Of course, that we all would like. And money gets us those things, but those are not the things that I need. I need to be loved. I need to walk in my purpose and in my passion, and I have that. So I feel really blessed. If you're ever in Atlanta, let's definitely link up and do some work. Let's work. Because I know you're in LA, but I'm pretty sure you come to Atlanta because they're filming a lot here, right? So.
Oh yeah, I've had to do several auditions for some people in it. So.
Oh, good. And we have another show called The Highlight Reels, a talk show, and
Yes.
it premieres every Friday at 7 p.m. on YouTube. Beast Mode Entertainment LLC is the channel, and it is hosted by Lester Green and myself. And this Friday, we will be featuring our special guest, Shamanda Burston. I am the director and producer of her film that she wrote called Wounded Healer, and we're going into production this Friday, the same day that it's premiering. We will be in production on set.
Beast mode. We go beast mode. It's like we doing the show all in one day. But I love it because you're killing it. You are everything that you said about just being able to operate, to be able to do something. Yes, we all want to have like a nice car, nice stuff like that, nice home. That's okay, cool. Most importantly, you're able to get up every single day and do what you love. You are the essence of what I call the producer of your own life. Because you're doing it. Literally, you're doing it.
Yeah.
And let's talk about this beautiful book here. Evergreen, Uprooted Memoirs of Secret. Break it down for a brother, and also tell us where we can get the book. So, make sure everybody knows how to go ahead and grab that book.
Okay, so Evergreen, let me try to put it up here again.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let me break. Evergreen Uprooted, Memoirs of Secret, is a book about my childhood. It's a book about my childhood that I wrote while I was in college. And when I went to school, my reading was on a 3rd grade level. Wasn't really good. I was always really smart. I was always able to think outside the box and survive. I've been on my own most of my life. And so when I went to college, and I went to college to punish myself, and if I were to get into that story, believe me, we would be on this live all night long. But I tell you, I had no place else to go, and I went to college, a person who had never really went to school, that much. And when I went there, I don't know, I was in denial and la la land or whatever, but I felt like I was going to get in and get out. I was like, let me go and get this degree and get out so I could make more money and be with my kids. At the time, I was working 3 jobs. So I really didn't see my children. It was like I would get up in the morning. I was driving the school bus. I would have my youngest son with me on the bus, and then I would do my morning run, then drop him off at daycare because his daycare started at 9. But my job started super early in the morning. So he would start with me, go to work with me, and I would drop him off at daycare. And then go to my second job, and then I would go in the afternoon, get on the bus, go pick up my kids in the afternoon. Like I was just running all day. Then I was working, doing catering, but not cooking. I would do the setup, the breakdown, all of that stuff. So I was constantly out and about and moving and not really spending time with my kids until one day, my son, I went to pick him up, from the daycare, and the purpose was to pick him up, feed him, and then take him to the babysitter in the building with no license. I lived in a tax credit apartment, so take him there to the babysitter with no license, and then go to my 3rd job, right? Yeah. So what happened is I was talking to his daycare teacher, and my youngest son, at the time he was 4 years old, he ran out of the school ahead of me. And now this is in Connecticut, Stamford, Connecticut. There's cars, it's busy. It's like a little, not New York, but it's busy. It's real busy. So he runs out, and all I could think is cars, the street, and my child's running out of this school. So I go run after him, and instead of me pulling the door open, I push it open. I hit it, and I broke my own wrist. But I tell you how powerful mother instinct and love is. I did not fall to the ground in pain until I had my son in my arms. When I got him in my arms, then I felt the pain, and I fell to the ground. And it was crazy. I was driving this 1998 Saturn, and it was an old car that was just holding on. It was holding on. It's like no matter what, that car kept going, but other things would happen with it. So at this point, every now and then I would have a problem with the passenger front door closing. Yes. Well, the day that my wrist got messed up, my passenger front door wouldn't close. So I happened to get my son in his little booster, you know, and now I'm in the car, and I'm like, how am I going to do this? And I'm still thinking, I got to go to work. And all this pain, I'm not thinking I got to go to the hospital. I'm thinking, I have to go to work. So I get in the car, and I have this little wire, and I take this wire, and I tie it around the handle of the door. And now my right wrist, this is the wrist I use to write and do everything, is jammed up. So I just got my left hand. Yeah, so now I'm pulling the cord. I have the cord underneath my thigh, okay? This whole pulling the door, leave my thigh and everything, and that's how I got home. Went to work. I worked a 300 party event. It was this huge wedding. I know it was a huge anniversary. I worked this 300 party event. Went to work. My wrist just began to swell. I couldn't even pour. Like, you know how they had the dessert with the coffee? I couldn't pour the coffee. I just was sweating. I was in so much pain. But I worked.
Yeah.
I worked the whole night. That's why I do what I love today. And I went to the doctor, the emergency room after. And the doctor said, how did you do that? How did you work? I said, I don't have a choice. He said, oh, yes, you do, because this is fractured. So of course I had the whole cast on. I'm all like, what are you talking about? How am I going to drive my bus and do, because all the work that I do, I use my hands. What am I going to do?
Yes.
So I couldn't do anything but sit home, and that was the best thing that happened to me, because, you know, I had a chance to spend time with my kids. I was doing all this work, and I wasn't receiving any assistance, and then I had to receive like assistance. You know, I had to get food stamps, which was something I really didn't want to do. I didn't want to do it because I grew up on that. You know, I grew up, so I was trying to do things differently, but it was hard. I had to get food stamps. I had to get assistance. You know, I was getting unemployment. You know, it was very little, because a lot of my jobs, some of them were part-time, where they give you just under those full-time hours, so they don't have to give you those benefits. You know the deal. I was getting unemployment and stuff, and all of a sudden I qualified for help with daycare, whereas I would be paying so much money for daycare. And it was like, oh no, we go by your income, so now you qualify for all these things. And I had a chance to sit home with my kids.
Wow.
And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed being their mom. I enjoyed spending time with them, and I wanted to do more of that. So that's what led me to college. And once I did that, I was in a remedial reading class at the lowest level, because I couldn't read. The counselor was like, I've never seen anything like this. And I'm showing him my transcript, and he's like, yeah, but you missed 98 days of school. Oh, but they passed you. He's trying to figure out, how is my reading score so bad, and I have a high school diploma. Because that's what they did back in the 80s and the 90s. They passed people through. So I got through. I got through the cracks. So I'm in school. I'm in this lower level remedial class. Like there's 3 levels. I'm in the lowest level. And I'm learning to read. You know, I'm mad. I'm mad. I can't get in and get out. And my teacher was phenomenal. His name was Steve Cohen. He was phenomenal. He wrote a book while in college. It was an instructional book of how to get around. I was like, wow. You know, once I started to really get better at reading, I read my first book, Flowers for Algernon. Yeah, I was 30-something years old. And then I read Makes Me Want to Holler. And I was like, I like this. Okay. Yeah. Then I fell in love with writing. I mean, I would take every journalism class. I was taking creative writing. I would go to the writing lab. I would, you know, have to go right after class and go to the library and try to read everything that I just learned in the class, so I could, retain it, because my brain wasn't used to being in school. So I had to try to get used to all that stuff. And I said, maybe I'm supposed to write. Maybe that's why all these things happen to me. I'm supposed to write about it. And so I started writing it and being able to look at my life through adult eyes. And it was very therapeutic for me. But it's very therapeutic for a lot of people. And a lot of stuff happened to me right here on this block, Evergreen Avenue. A lot of stuff that should never happen to any child. So when I was about 6 years old, my mother got on crack cocaine. She had always been there for us. You know, one night I got up and she wasn't home, and I waited for her in her room. When she came home, she said she had just married this man. My mother was in a car accident the prior year. Yes. She was in a bad car accident. She fell through the window of a van, and she had over 200 pieces of glass in her. They couldn't even get it all out. She had to get needles in her skin and in her head so the glass could come out. had to wear a big brim hat to hide her face. And this is a beautiful woman. She had a terrible accident. She lived through it, thank God. And after that, she got the settlement, was already on, different drugs and everything like that, pills and different things for the pain, and met this man that she fell in love with. He introduced her to crack. At the time I was 6, I didn't know what crack was. Really, we talking about 1982.
Yeah.
81. When crack first hit the street, and no one really knew what it was, And she said, I tried something, I don't know if I should do it again. I kind of didn't like it. I said, well, if you don't like it, then don't do it. She said, but it made me feel good. I was 6 years old. I said, well, Mommy, if it makes you feel good, you should do it. And that was crack. And I didn't realize what I told her to do until I lost her as a mom. And so I spent my childhood taking care of my siblings, taking care of my mom. I was the oldest. I watched my sisters go to school. I had a sister that was younger than me, a year and 4 months younger than me. I watched her go to school, but I said, I got to go. I got to stay home. I got to stay. My mother would go to Harlem, this place called, the Lee Building, and she was on methadone because she was hooked on heroin, and she couldn't afford both habits. She couldn't afford the heroin and the crack. So she would go to Harlem every day, and she had to take methadone every single day. I don't know if you've ever seen a person who gets what they call dope sick, but you don't. It's like the worst thing. You don't want to see that. And so I would ride with her a lot because she would get this methadone and just nod and sleep. And I had to make sure that she got home on the train. I was the one to say, Mommy, here's our stop. Wake up. She'd be nodding on the people next to her, And it just got bad when I was 9. She offered me to smoke crack. I didn't do it. By the time I was 10, I had missed, all those days of school, couldn't barely read. 11 years old, was sexually abused by my stepfather, the same one who turned her on to crack cocaine. Then the following year, I went to go stay with my grandparents, and they sent me to spend time with my uncle, who's my mother's brother, and his daughter, she sexually abused me. And that was I looked up to her as my cousin. She took advantage of me. I never said anything about it. And then by the time I was 13, we were in foster care. I watched my sisters be taken away, and it was at that part when I can't even talk about it because I start crying. I can talk about everything else, and I really don't have no emotion. But I think that really damaged me. Just, being their older sister, taking care of them, and seeing them pulled away like that. It just anytime I talk about it, it ruined me. And I think after that I needed counseling, but I just didn't get it. It's like, oh, we just move on. You know how it is with black folks. We go through stuff and just move on. That thing broke it broke my heart. It broke my heart to see them be pulled away, and see us separated like that. So that went on for some years, and I would go see them at this place called Harlem Downing in Harlem, New York. That's where we go and see each other and everything. And we were in foster care for about 4.5, almost 5 years, about to go into be adopted. And that's when my mother, she got herself together. She really didn't want to lose us as her kids, so she got herself together, and she got off drugs, never went back on it. And we were reunited with her. I was about 17 years old. That is also the time when I met my dad, so for the first time. And he died 6 months after I met him, but I was compelled to meet him. And I was like, I gotta meet him. I gotta know who he is. What does he look like? Do I look like him? Do I sound, what does he sound like? I just wanted to know, and I was compelled to. So I went and I found him. And he died in his sleep. He didn't have it wasn't like he had any issues or he knew he was going to die. It was a sudden death, heart failure, sudden, so that happened. And just a bunch of stuff, going through homelessness in New York City, and just the things that I'm a strong believer of God, because God has brought me through so much.
That's right.
And people say, wow, I can't believe that you've been through so much. Because I can go, my childhood, you might think that's something, but I could tell you the stuff I went through as an adult, you would be like, what? So it's just been
that's in the book, right?
No, that's not in the book. That's not in the book. The childhood's in the book. Childhood stuff. Childhood's in the book.
We're going to need to see more about, because your story is so inspirational, what you've overcome. People need to see that. People need to experience that. So they know they can get through. They know, okay, if Nas made it with her faith in God, I can.
I'm
So
telling
that's
you.
why story is so important that you know your storyteller. So I hope we get a chance to see the rest of that in another book or either on screen. This is important.
Yes. And I have a show that is a surprise. It's coming up, and of course, my buddy, my bestie, Lester Green. We're doing it together.
He connected us.
Yes, he did. He's the connector. He's definitely the connector, and we're gonna do this show. And it is going to touch on a lot of stuff that, I actually started the YouTube page and everything earlier 2020. And then I think I got cold feet and I didn't go there. But I want to go there because the reason why I started it is because I always talked about my mom, right?
Yes.
And I guess my perception of her throughout my life was that she had it all. She grew up in a household with two parents, a mother and a father. They were together all their life. My grandmother had 4 kids by my grandfather. Mm-hmm. My mother was the youngest. She got everything because by the time they had her, they were established. My grandmother went to school. She'd been working, for some years. My grandfather had his own shop. Yeah. They were established. So she had everything, and she was the only one in the house at that, right? The baby.
Yes.
And she turned out on drugs, and I used to be like, what? She had everything. How did she turn out the other ones who didn't have it all? But she had it all.
Yeah.
And one day we would talk, because I was young and that was my perception. And one day we had a conversation on the phone, and I couldn't even hear anymore. Mm-hmm. She had been through so much. I couldn't even take hearing it. That somebody had been through that, but by the grace of God, she was still in her right mind.
Yes.
She suffered the loss of her sister, so that was, she was grieving, never received counseling, because that's not something that we did back in the 70s, back in the 80s. And her sister was always wanted to see her graduate, and she said at her graduation, when she looked around, her sister wasn't there, it just broke her heart. She was depressed. And then she had a boyfriend, she's about 15 years old. She has a boyfriend, and she didn't want to sleep with him, but she knew if she didn't sleep with him, he was going to get it somewhere else. So she did it. She was like, the first time she did it, she got pregnant. First time. Yeah. And then she said, my grandfather didn't know, but my grandmother knew and talked her and her boyfriend into having an abortion. She said she didn't want to do it, but her boyfriend was all for it. Like, he didn't even give it a second thought. He was like, let's do it. And so she did it, and she went to use the toilet, and she saw the parts of her baby's parts in the toilet. She was devastated. This is 15 years old, 16 years old. And the same boy that she was in love with, she went to the house one day to visit him, and his mother made her wait in the living room, and she's saying, why I had to wait in the living room? I'm always in his room. I've seen his room dirty many times. And she go in there, and he got a girl in there. So she started talking to this other dude, but this other dude she was talking to, he smoked weed, he got high, he did everything. She talked to the other dude to make the one who cheated on her jealous, right?
Yes.
And he got her turned out on drugs. So she was a 16-year-old hooked up on heroin. And from there she ended up going to juvenile detention center to get off the drugs, but it was a center for bad kids, because I don't know if she was selling it or what it was, why she had to go to this place that she was on lockdown, but they took her out in cuffs. She was 16. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. It's like one bad thing happened to her after another. Rape. My father deceived her. He was a married man. They had birthday the same day. She had no idea. He was married until one day he came to see her at my grandmother's house, and he forgot to take off that ring.
Oh, boy.
Then she's pregnant with me. He signed my birth certificate, but that was it. I didn't meet him until I was 17 and a half, and it was just one bad thing after another that happened to her. Then now she's taking care of kids and working at a daycare. She has 3 kids. She goes through this terrible car accident where she flies through the window of a van, and she's back on pills and hooked on that and back on heroin.
You know what?
Democrat. So I was like, I got to do this show because I didn't know this about my mom. I was just like, wow, she was privileged. She was privileged.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, I was just too young to understand that this was a broken woman having children.
Wow.
And so I'm like, we got to start to deal with it. I don't know how to fix it, but I know we got to talk about it because you have a lot of broken people having kids. I'm broken. I have 2 sons. My son, they don't know what it is to go to a friend's house and do a sleepover because I've been abused several times as a child and as an adult by different people. So in my head, I'm like, you're not going to stay at anybody's house,
Right.
ever. I don't ever want to see you sitting on any man or any woman. Don't sit on nobody's lap, man or woman, because I was hurt by both, ever. So they don't know what that is to go to somebody's house and have a sleepover.
What?
Because of what happened to me is like I have put that off on my kids. So and I'm just saying I'm not the perfect mom, but I feel like I'm a good mom. But I'm protective of them because I know what they've gone through. So these are things we got to start talking about to heal it because we're having children, we're making family, we're bringing life into this world, and the last thing I feel any mother or father wants to do is hurt their kids and not know you're hurting them.
You know what, Naz? I know we're running because I want to keep you running because I know you have another meeting coming up, and I want to.
Yes, at 2:30. Yes.
Yeah, and I want to give you some time to get ready for that.
Yes.
I'll probably going to continue this conversation in another talk. But
yes.
What I want people to understand is that Naz is this incredible woman who has accomplished so much and overcome so many hurdles, adversity, and look at that smile. That smile you're seeing right now. It's because she has realized that you have to take ownership. You have to take. There's no excuses. I haven't heard you get one excuse, but I want to hit you with because I know we're running short on time. I want to hit you with a couple of questions. So if you were to direct a superhero movie, what would be your dream scenario? Just break it down. Give me about 30 seconds on that. What would be your dream scenario on that?
You said break it down?
Yeah, not all the way down because I know we got literally. I'm gonna try to get you out of here in 3 minutes. So I'm gonna try to wrap this up.
I think my dream scenario superhero would be a super dad. I want to see a super dad, super single dad, not a super dad with a mom in the house. I want to see that super dad. I think single parents are superheroes, and give them some super abilities. For example, when I had my son, I used to sleep all the way through the night sound, sleeper. But as soon as I had my son, like instantly, that was a superpower I had. One eye open, one eye closed. I never slept the same. And that's just a mother instinct that we have. But men, they don't have that. So it would be cool to see like a super dad. He's a superhero in every way. He has superpowers. He has those instincts that we women have. He has it, and he's taking care of his kid by himself. I mean, working those 3 jobs, spending time, providing that emotional time, that just giving time, emotional, psychological, taking the kid to the park, just being there, but providing stability, being a super dad. That would be a great superhero story, but I would give him like some superpowers, Dad, I want some ice cream, now he turns into Genie. He come up with that ice cream, okay, superpowers and super strength and things like that. Yeah, maybe the kids may have some superpowers as well.
I can visualize that. I can visualize a super dad, So,
yeah.
Because I feel like I'm a super dad, so I think I can visualize you. So
yes.
Can you drop a nugget on everyone? We're still early in the week. It's Tuesday, and we know we have the rest of this week to go through. And 2021 started out kind of interesting. I always tell people though, when it comes to this year is going to be this year is going to be that. Don't wait for the year to change. You change the next day.
Yes.
I don't get excited about New Year's Eve or New Year's Day because it's just a flip of the calendar to me. It's just changing from one day to the next. So, with that being said, what would you drop on the younger Naz who come to you and say, hey, I'm having a difficult time. I really need to figure out how to process and get through this. What would you tell them?
I would tell a younger Nas something, my favorite quote from Nina Simone.
All right.
Freedom is to live without fear. What is for you is for you. Be the best that you can.
Can you probably get an amen from I hear the organs on here? You tune it up. Go ahead, say that again.
Freedom is to live without fear. Fear is something that is a big problem in a lot of people's lives. They make a lot of moves, a lot of bad moves, bad choices, wrong, because of fear.
Yes.
Freedom is to live without fear. What is for you is for you. Once you realize that in life, that's it. You can do anything. And I would tell you could do anything because, here's the thing. This is what I would tell younger Nas. You work for God. Right. God is excellent. So there's nothing that you can't do. And tell the younger Nas, don't be afraid.
All right.
Because you coming like, hey, I need help. Don't worry, don't be afraid. Freedom is to live without fear.
You know what? That is the best nugget. I'm a marinate on that today. Freedom to live without fear. I want people to keep in touch with you. Thank you to all the viewers. I see Lester's all in the comments. I just looked over and see he's all in the comments.
Oh, he is? Oh, wonderful. That's my bestie. That's my brother. I love Lester, man. Lester's amazing.
My auntie's here. Hey, auntie.
Oh, hey, auntie. That is great. Well, you can find me. I'm on Facebook, Naz Pankey. That's NazPankey. Also, NazPankey.com. That's my website. I am on Instagram as beastmode_Naz. Yes. So that's how you can find my email address is nazpankey@gmail.com. And I have a YouTube channel that is Beast Mode Entertainment LLC.
And you have a website too, huh?
Yes, nazpankey.com. That's my website. Yep. Yes.
And how can the viewers, order your book?
Okay, my book, Evergreen. I got to kick this right. Okay, we go. Evergreen Uprooted. Here is the cover. You can order this book on Amazon.com. Evergreen Uprooted, Memoirs of Secret by Naz Pankey. And I thank you so much for your support.
Oh, man. Everybody go out there and get this book. My auntie said, hey, niece, I guess she's calling you niece and nephew.
Thank you.
I love her, my auntie over in Inglewood,
Oh, right. So I've been to Inglewood. I was in Inglewood in 2016.
Yeah, Inglewood.
Yes.
So, I want to thank you, Naz, for being a guest on the Produce Your Own Life TV show. You are amazing. You are what our show is about. And
thank you.
This is, you're inspiring. I get chills every time we talk. The first time we spoke. And with that being said, I want to thank everybody for watching, for listening. Make sure you share this show. Let's increase and let's build momentum with this movement because we're all about spreading love. We're about positive. And life is a script. It's like yours. So thank you, everybody. We love you, and we will see you real soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Have a great day.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Take care, ATL down there.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you for listening and watching the Produce Your Own Life podcast with Rodney Damon Collins. Be sure to rate, like, subscribe, and share on all podcast and social media platforms. If you have questions or would like to be a guest on the show, feel free to reach out to us anytime at produceyourownlifetv@gmail.com. Remember, life is a script. It's time to write your story. Until next time, produce your own life.